Hello, good afternoon and welcome to P2P Live for today, end of February. My name is Catherine Kennedy. I'm the Managing Director for People2People here in New South Wales. I'm very happy to be hosting today. I'm coming to you today from the beautiful Blue Mountains, which means I'm coming from the land of the Darug and Gundungurra people, and do want to acknowledge that and pay my respects to elders past and present. Thank you for joining us. As always, we will give you a little bit of an update on what's happening in the market. We've got our numbers section, which has the unemployment rate, which has been fairly recently released. We also have got a number of hot jobs that the team are working on, some that need to be filled really quickly. We've also got some roles to showcase from around the various offices of People2People around the world now. So we've got some roles in the UK, also in New Zealand. So we'll take you through those positions. We're going to have a chat to Kalinda from our legal team here in Sydney, who's going to give an overview and an update on what's happening in the legal market as we've kicked off 2023. And then finally, I will share the results from our Twitter poll last week. And we've got another question that we're going to put out to the Twitterverse to get your thoughts on. So that's the plan of attack. Thanks again for watching. Please comment if you've got questions as we go along. We might get straight into it with the numbers section, please. Great. So what you can see on screen there is the unemployment rate for Australia. This goes back to early 2013, so it's really over a 10-year period. You can see it was pretty consistently between that sort of 5 to 6 for the first 5 or 6 years of this graph. It started to decline as we were approaching that pandemic, and then, as we all know, there was a huge spike in that 2020 period, and then was declining. And I've never seen an unemployment rate decline at such a rapid rate. You can see it really fell off a cliff there, which was good news for all of us, of course. As we're coming into 2023, we did see a very modest increase in that unemployment rate. So it's sitting at 3.7%, I should say now, which is a 0.2% increase on what was 3.5 at the end of 2022. So we're starting to see that unemployment rate creep up a little bit, but an unemployment rate starting with a 3 is really still incredibly low, and lower than we have seen in this 10-year period, except for this last little period of 6 to 12 months or so. So that's the data around the unemployment rate. If you've got questions specifically about what's happening in the market, please reach out to our team. I'm sure people will be happy to tell you what's happening in the market and give you some updates. So we've got a HR administrator position that Alia is managing. That's a contract role, or a temporary role, I should say. So it's on an hourly basis, looking for that HR administration experience, obviously an understanding of the importance of confidentiality. So experience within HR or talent acquisition particularly would be highly regarded. I know they're looking to have someone start in that role immediately. So if you've got that type of background, or you know someone who does, please reach out to Alia on the details that you can see there. The next role that we've got in Australia is over in Perth. So it's a legal assistant role, which is timely given we're going to speak to Kalinda in a moment. So a legal assistant, ideally we're looking for experience specifically in property, and ideally commercial property. So that's the particular area of law that the team is very, very keen to speak to candidates who've got that type of background. Phoebe Priest is the consultant who's managing that, and her details are on the screen there, and you can contact her if you're interested in that position. And then we've also got a job from New Zealand. So if you're considering a move across the ditch, we've got a sales representative role that Shav Neal is looking to fill. It's a temporary position on an hourly rate. You can see that on the screen there. And the start date that they're ideally looking for is the 1st of March. So we are not that far away from the 1st of March now. But if you are planning to be landing in New Zealand sometime soon, or if you know somebody who either is already or is moving to New Zealand quickly, then please make sure that you alert them to this opportunity, or just more broadly connect with our team in New Zealand, and they'll definitely be able to help you secure some work. Shav Neal's details are on the screen there, and he'd definitely be a great place to start. So I think we also have a role, well, as I mentioned before, People to People is in Australia, of course, but we're also in the UK, we're also in New Zealand. And if you are, or you know anybody who's looking to move around those different locations, you can definitely engage with the P2P team across different countries, particularly if you're going to do a working holiday in the UK or potentially New Zealand. So we've got a video, I think, from the UK team that we might play next that just shows a particular role that they're looking to fill at the moment.
Hey, I'm Hannah from People to People Recruitment. I'm currently working on an excellent role for a personal assistant within the financial sector. Committed to responsible business, this company are known for having a fair, positive and ethical culture. This role is to support a very busy partner who needs an organised, proactive and eager to learn personal assistant. The ideal candidate will have excellent skills within diary and inbox management, as well as a great eye for detail. You will also gain exposure and training to more technical financial knowledge and duties, such as tracking and updating investment fund analytics. The role is paying 36 to 46,000 and will also have a bonus depending on performance. Please do get in touch with me for more details. Thank you.
So what we might do now is we're going to have a chat to Kalinda Campbell from our legal team in Sydney. And Kalinda has got a little bit of an update for us around what's happening in the legal market as we've started 2023. I think it's been really quite busy, so keen to talk to her and see what's been happening in that particular space.
Hello. Yeah, thanks for that. Morning, Kath. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Very well. Yeah, the sun is shining, which is nice.
I know. It's nice. It's peeking out a little bit here in Sydney, so it's nice. But yeah, I do have two major changes that I've come across really this year in the legal space. So I think the most important factor is that during COVID-19, we did have a lot of firms with their entire staff working fully remote. In the past year, I've spoken to heaps of clients who are in a HR capacity who found it quite difficult to incentivize staff to bring them back to working in the office. But at the beginning of this year, I've had a number of firms tell me they've implemented a strict policy whereby legal support staff do have to be in the office full time. So it will be interesting to see how that goes this year and see whether they do keep up with maintaining their staff in the office as well, or whether they do go back to that flexibility. The second thing I have seen is the structure of firms. Recently, I've met with a number of top tier firms who've implemented this kind of hub structure. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but it does seem like a bit of a confusing concept, but I do think it's quite efficient. It means that support staff will be grouped together. Work will be allocated to a generic inbox that can be accessed by all staff. So this means that if there's staff on leave, off sick, the work can still carry on without any interruption. I have seen for that reason, though, these firms seem to employ less temporary staff to cover in these short-term instances. For this reason, I do expect a lot more float secretaries to be in demand this year, but it will be interesting to see those changes as they occur as well.
Yeah, okay. Is there much of a reaction from the market in terms of candidates' reactions to that hub sort of model? Are people?
Yeah, definitely. I think that
it?
People are definitely for or against it. We have had a few people who were working at those firms who then had that restructure and they weren't quite happy with the restructure, whereas others would prefer something like that because it is a lot more efficient in the process as well.
Yeah, variety as well, I suppose. All right. Well,
Mm,
thank you for your insights. I know because I
no
sit around you
problem.
guys sometimes when I'm in the floor in Sydney, and I know you're busy. So just generally, if anyone's watching this and they've got legal support experience, they're looking to work in a legal firm, I'm sure you and the team would be happy to talk to them, no doubt.
Definitely. We've got a lot of roles on at the moment, so always happy to have a conversation.
Awesome. Great. Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks, Kath.
So we're almost at the end of the broadcast, which means there's just the Twitter poll to share the results of now. So the question that we asked last week was, has the rising cost of living affected your job search in 2023? And there's some interesting results here. So 19% of people have said, look, it has impacted my job search, so much so that I am determined to stay where I am. The security of having that I guess stable employment is really important for people. The other side of that coin is 35% have said, yes, I'm looking for a new job. Now, maybe they're looking to get a higher salary. There could be a host of reasons contributing, but 35% have said, yes, the rising cost of living is impacting me so much that I'm going to look for a new position. And 40% said, look, it really doesn't have much of an impact at all. And then there's always the cohort of others. So 6% have got other ideas, and we don't know exactly what those are. But I thought that was interesting from last week. The Twitter poll that we're going to put out to the world this week is really around, and it's interesting what Kalinda said there about return to the office and either a policy or incentives to bring people back. The question we have for you is, over the last few years, has your employer introduced incentives to work more days in the office? So are they trying to get you to come back either all of the time or more of the time? We're really interested to hear from the market and get a sense of what's happening out there. So please jump onto Twitter and put your vote in and give us those results. We'll share that with you next week, of course. For now, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely weekend, and we'll be back next week.